What's up? What's up? I know there is like no one in here right now, but hopefully, eventually, when I do finish this live, there'll be people that watch it back. So, what's going on, y'all? I know it's been a hot minute since you have seen me. Um, I'm just trying to part my hair because I'm going to do some box braids on myself, and that usually takes me forever to do. I've only done three little plots or plaits in the back so far, so I'm planning on doing a whole head. And yeah, that takes me a while. I do the rubber band method because that's the easiest method for me, especially since I'm doing it on myself. So I'm trying to do a part down the center of my face, center part down the middle, whatever, but that's even harder to do sometimes too. But anyway, let's chat about what's going on with your girl. So, as some of you may or may not know, I have moved I used to live in New York, then I moved to New Jersey. Now I live in Charlotte, which is in North Carolina. So, I moved here about 2 months ago, and I've been living here, of course, ever since. So it's been a big move, big change of life. Definitely a little bit more slower pace down here, but it's a good slower pace where you can breathe. I felt a little bit consumed in New York, and things were a lot harder to kind of maneuver in Jersey. So Charlotte seemed like a good fit for me and my family. As some of you know, I got married, had a baby, the whole thing. Um, yeah, it's like a whole thing. Actually, my son is taking a nap right now, which is enabling me to have some free time because normally he is like, listen, I don't know if it's this retrograde thing. I missed you too, Smile. I don't know if it's this like retrograde thing, but my son has been turning up. Okay, when I mean turning up, he's been turning all the way up. Okay, like going crazy. He's 1.5. Um, and he's going through his like, I don't want to call it terrible twos, but you know what I mean when I say terrible twos. Like, you know how kids are like growing and they're learning to express themselves and they're kind of like being little tyrants. That's what he's going through right now. And he's going through that phase. So it's been a lot of screaming, a lot of, not on my end, well, I have to tell him to stop doing certain things like climbing the couch or doing this or doing that, little things that babies do. But he's been like going through this screaming phase where he just screams. Oh, it's like, girls, it's a lot. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get him to relax and calm down and not be so riled up. So like I said, he's taking a nap right now, so it has me having a little bit of free time. So I wanted to spend some of my free time with you guys. So I know one of you, Miss Smile or Mr. Smile, just said that they keep up with me on Instagram, which is a great way that if you are interested in knowing about like what's going on with me, what's going on in my life, whatever, you'll have an easier time figuring it out on Instagram. Um, my Instagram is at Tasteface, same as this YouTube channel. So just at Tasteface. And yeah, I just do, a lot of regular mom stuff. Like I am now transitioning into baking. Like that is like one of my most favorite things to do. And I've been like, kind of uploading clips on things that I've baked and things that I want to bake. Um, so baking has definitely been an outlet for me since moving here to Charlotte. I was always interested in it because I didn't really know how to do it. Like, it was something that like I told my husband when we were like dating early on, like, yo, I know how to cook, but one thing I don't really know how to do is bake. And Now that my son is a little bit older and a little bit less dependent, one of my favorite things to try to do is bake. Like right now, I have a loaf of bread proofing in my kitchen. So I think that's one thing that like I really, 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 really want to uh, bring to my YouTube, because I do want to have a revival. I keep trying to get it up off the ground, get it up off the ground, but it is extremely time consuming being a mom to my particular child, because my particular child is very um, clingy. He needs his mommy, and I'm always there for him. I am a stay at home mom, and it is definitely a it's been a journey. So I don't want to, you know, I guess put it all on the fact that I'm a stay-at-home mom, because obviously I have some time, but a lot of the free time I have is after 7:30 p.m. when my son isn't down for the night. So it just is like, ugh. By the time you get to 7:30, child, it feels like 11:30 and you're ready to go to sleep. It's a whole thing. It's like a whole actual thing. But I'm getting my wing. I'm catching my wing. I'm getting my wings to get ready to just like, you know, uh get back out there. Totally inspired in this moment. Like my husband's got some great things going for him right now, and it's such an inspiration, and I'm just like so proud of him, and it just makes me look at my own self like, girl, get back onto the thing that you have been doing for years. I've been doing YouTube for years. I started back when I was working at Hooters when I first started doing YouTube, which was, I don't even know what year that was. I was living in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. So that had to be maybe like 2000, I want to say 2009, I started YouTube, which is like, I was 19. I am 31, going on 32. So yeah, like YouTube has been a constant in my life for the past however many years now. So I have to get back on it and, do what I like to do. And as a person, and as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a content creator, as whatever, as a being, like, you evolve. So I want to evolve. I still want to do my makeup. Don't get it twisted. I still want to do hair stuff. Don't get it twisted. But I also want to show y'all some cooking stuff because, bitch, I can actually cook. I can actually cook. I can actually, I'm learning baking. I'm learning baking. I'm not like uh, a an experienced, high tech, bourgeois type of uh, baker, but one day I'm gonna get there. So I got a few things that I want to purchase in order to get my baking life. As y'all can see, I'm trying to like line up my parts, which is pretty good. Like, look at that. That's actually a really good straight line. I have a big ass head. Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry, y'all. Camera slip. Um, Ignore my shirt. It's got baby goo on it. Like he was chewing some he was chewing some goldfish and he had fell off the couch. Now listen, I know you thinking, damn bitch, like why was your baby like not being attended on the couch? He was. It's just that he is so quick. Like babies move so fast. And it's like before you know it, he's done a whole like cartwheel off the couch and you're like, oh my God. But I what was I saying? I forgot. I kind of got sidetracked because my husband walked into the room. Um, but yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've uploaded, and I'm in the process of getting a few. I think that's where I was going with it. Um, hmm? Yeah, you can come get your hat. This is my husband, y'all. Say hi. His name is Darius. He's a sweetheart. I love him so much. Um, But I am in the process of getting a few different tools and things like that. Like I want to get a stand mixer so that I can, make cakes and things like that. I also want to get a Dutch oven so that I can start baking the bread in the Dutch oven because you need a Dutch oven to make rustic style breads and stuff like that. Like I've been doing my Googles on it. Like I bought a couple books, one for baking like more pastry type things, and then the other one is made for more breads. Um, there's this lady I watch here on YouTube called her real name is Claire, but I guess she goes by Dessert Person. Like I've been coming infatuated with all of her recipes, so I have yet to create one. So that's something I'm gonna plan on doing in the future. But yeah, and then the book that I'm reading for bread is by a guy named Ken something. I don't know, but he is a really good baker, and I'm excited about getting that underway. I have one of his recipes actually in my kitchen right now, proofing, which is like, when the dough is rising or whatever. So I'm hype about that. Can't wait to see how it turns out because normally the breads that I've been making, the dough has been a little bit drier than the bread that I'm making right now, which is a little bit strange. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to bore you with the bread talk until you actually see it in person because I can imagine hearing this is like, bitch, I don't care about that. I want to know what's going on with you. So yeah, like I said, new things. Moved to Charlotte. Been living here now for 2 months. Okay. Wait. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'll see you soon. Um, so I moved to Charlotte. I do like it here. It's a lot different in some ways. Um, but in a lot of ways it's kind of similar to New York, at least the area that I'm living in, because it's in a more populated area. So it's not so like because I one of my biggest fears for moving here to Charlotte was that it was going to be like country and like just not the tea. But actually, the area that I live in is reminiscent of Brooklyn mixed with Greenpoint. I know they're two totally different areas, but they have that vibe. Um, so I really like this area. It's a lot of fun. There's tons of like different little bars, different little restaurants, bakeries, and things like that that are popping up. And you know what I noticed about Charlotte is that they are building apartments everywhere. Like there is literally new apartments being built in every part of this city. So that to me means that they anticipate Charlotte having a really big growth in a growth in communities because I feel like it's one of those cities that is developing into something bigger. So we're just getting in here while it's still developing, but it's a really good city and the people are nice so far. I haven't had any like I was kind of nervous I was gonna bump into a Karen or two because when you imagine a Karen, I don't know. There's a shit ton in New York. Don't get it twisted, but I just feel like down south Karens are probably a little bit more intense than up north Karens. But I could be wrong. I haven't ran into one yet. Knock on wood. I hope I never do. Um. Oh. My little guy just woke up. We'll see if he'll like go back to sleep. But yeah, my view on it so far has been pretty good. I'm enjoying Charlotte. I do miss some parts of New York. I just miss like, a different, well, I don't know, I would say the people, but back in New York, I had friends, but they were like the pandemic fucked everything up. I'm gonna just put it like that. Like you don't really get to see your friends because it was all locked down. It was like people staying away from each other. We're just kind of like chatting through the phone and things like that. Like the pandemic literally had changed my entire life. Like I planned a whole different life. Like I was planning on maybe not working for a few months, putting my son in daycare while I go to work, and then like do that whole thing. But then when the pandemic happened, it literally transformed it into okay, you're a stay at home mom now, and that's it. Like my husband, he does, he works and everything like that, and I stay at home. And that just wasn't like the original plan. We had to like deviate because things were like totally different. I didn't want to work in a bar because I was a bartender. I didn't want to work as a bartender anymore, just for the simple fact that I was scared that I was going to catch some shit, like, and bring it home to my baby. Like, that's terrifying to me. And also, New York City, everything was shut down. So even when I was ready to, like, like put my son into daycare, there was no job to go back to. My job shut down. It was just like they shut down and then they closed permanently. So it was just like, but you don't have a job to go back to. And I could go back into makeup, but it was just kind of like at that point, what's the use? I didn't really see the use of going back to work. And you know, it just wasn't in the cards. So yeah, it wasn't given the give, and I'm just here now. And I enjoy my new life. It's not what I anticipated in terms of like what I would thought I was going to be doing, but it's like you plan versus what actually happens, and that's totally cool. Um, so yeah, I spend my days at home with my little bug. I want to start doing, I was thinking about vlogging and like sharing my experience as a stay-at-home mom and doing that whole thing, but I was kind of nervous of like putting my son on camera only for the simple fact that, sometimes I feel like these kids, when they grow up, because they didn't sign up for being on camera, suppose they grow up and they like absolutely hate the fact that they were on camera. Like they didn't get a chance to be asked, like, hey, do you want to be on camera? Is it okay if you know what I mean? And that's kind of one of the things that I wish to ask my son. I don't want to just put a camera in his face and just like record our day-to-day interactions all day and then upload it to YouTube for viewer discretion. I feel like, once he's of age and I can like, maybe ask him a little bit, maybe, but it's like I guess I could still do it, just not show his face, maybe blurry. I mean, his face is like, if you go on my Instagram, whatever, I have pictures of him, whatever, and sometimes I do like Instagram stories or whatever, but I don't want to, I just want it to be a little bit more personal when it comes to him. And my page is private on Instagram too. So I don't know. So I probably could do it, but just more so along the lines of the main focus is me. if if you are interested or something like that. But currently I am shooting in, just so you know, I'm in my closet slash bathroom slash um bedroom. It's like a whole different thing. Like, and that's another thing about moving to Charlotte is like the apartments are crazy. Like my apartment now is so infinitely better than the apartment that I was living in Jersey. Like I have so much more space. Wait, hold on. Somebody just commented. I'm just trying to read this real quick. It always deletes it. Oh, okay. I never considered that like kids deserve that respect. Yeah, like I just personally, if it was up to me, because there's no like, how there's clinical studies of things like, oh, after years of people smoking cigarettes or whatever, now what the repercussions of smoking cigarettes, like you can get lung lung problems, or whatever the case may be. We don't really know the psychological um, aspect of how children develop after having their lives for display when they're super young. I mean, I guess you could look at Disney stars and kind of like see like, oh, how some of them have turned out, and some of them have turned out kind of kooky. So it's just like, because my son, like, he watches YouTube for sometimes, and I see him sometimes he likes certain things, and I'm just like, okay, not we're gonna not watch that. We're gonna not look at that really quick. And then there's when I was living in Jersey, one of my neighbors had a son who was like 5 years old, and he was watching this kid named Ryan's World, and he's this YouTuber who makes like a shit ton of money, basically just showing toys that he plays with, or like showing his family dynamic. And I'm like, this kid is making all this money, but we don't know what he's going to be like when he's older. Because he kind of, you can already tell he's teetering that line of being like a brat and, and narcissistic a little bit. So that's one of the things that I just don't want to foster, because I just don't think it's necessary, especially without asking him first and having his permission. That's why, I post some pictures, but just not too much where it's like, you know. So that's just kind of my take on it. I know it's a little bit strange, like, girl, he is a baby, he is not gonna know, but when he's older, he will know. And I want him to feel comfortable with what I upload. So I gotta wait and kind of see what goes on with that. But anyway, yeah, the apartments here in Charlotte are much bigger. They're definitely a lot more luxurious than Jersey, the one I was staying in. It was a cute apartment. It was a cute starter apartment for a couple who were, it was our first time moving together, living together, and it was small, it was cute, it was quaint. Um, but we grew out of it as soon as my son came. As soon as my son came, it was just like, we're gonna need more space immediately. Like immediately. So we stayed in that apartment, excuse me, for 2 years, and then now we're here. And those kind of experiences, living together and going through a pandemic together, was definitely eye opening, but in a fantastic way. I know a lot of people probably went through the pandemic and had like such horrible experiences, and I just kind of want to speak to the positive of what the pandemic kind of did for me and my family personally. It actually kind of brought us together more, and it definitely inspired a lot of creativity, a lot of love, a lot of happiness, and things like that. So it was kind of a low key blessing in a way, and I know for a lot of people it wasn't that way. So there's a good and there's a bad to, I guess, everything, I guess you could say. So, but it really changed my perspective a lot, going through the pandemic, and how the world was when I was pregnant. Before, like when I first found out I was pregnant, it was like a different world. And then a quarter way through my pregnancy, then everything, the world changed. And I was super scared to give birth. It was just like, oh my God, like when I give birth, I'm scared I'm going to catch coronavirus. It was like a whole thing. Like I couldn't even have my family come to the hospital. And that was really hard on me because that was something I really wanted to experience with my mother around. And she couldn't come. I was only allowed to have one person in the hospital with me. And of course, it was going to be my husband because, he's my husband and that's his baby. So he got to experience it. Um, But I will say though, my hospital experience was fantastic. I loved my hospital experience. It was actually a lot more pleasant than I thought it was going to be. Um, Stayed in the hospital for 4 days. A lot of people were like, "What?" when I told them that, but it's like, yeah, it was 4 days, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed it, you know. But as soon as I got home, things flipped because I decided to breastfeed, and breastfeeding definitely is a choice. It's a choice. Um, my son is still breastfeeding. He's a year and a half old. But breastfeeding it was, to me, it was necessary because I felt like it was going to be something that would help form an immediate bond. Some people when they have their babies initially, they don't have that immediate bond, and I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want to fall into a depression. I didn't want to, and I honestly think it's like something to do with like being with breastfeeding. Like I feel like if you breastfeed your baby, there's a little bit more of a bond that forms. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to breastfeed. And also because, of course, my body was kind of designed to give him certain nourishment and he received it well. And he's he's himself. But enough about that. Um, I'm just happy that, the majority of the people that were on my channel are still subscribed. Because it's been so long, you could have easily unsubscribed. So I'm thankful and I appreciate you guys for sure. Um, I do want you to know that this is a new year, obviously, and a new year for me would entail me being more focused on things that make me happy. And honestly, some of the things that made me happy were YouTube. And I'm not going to make any grand promises like, oh, it's going to be every week, but it definitely will be more on a frequent basis than it was last year. I didn't post anything last year. Yeah, 2021. I don't think I posted anything at all on YouTube. But 2020, I think I uploaded maybe one or two videos. Um, But 2020 was hectic, man. There was just a lot going on in terms of being a new mom, pandemic, all that, all that, all that. But this year, things are a little bit smoother for me. My son has his dedicated nap hour. That was a hard thing to get my son into a frequent nap and like kind of get him into like napping on his own because he was contact napping for the longest and now he actually sleeps by himself for his naps, which is like such a weight off my shoulders. Y'all don't understand, like having someone literally being attached to you 24/7, that was hard for my personality type. You know, I am an only child, and I've been on my own since I was 23, which is which is a good age. Not to say that I, was kicked out at 16 and had to live this like hard life. That wasn't my story, but being on my own since 23, living and doing everything I wanted, and then it felt like my freedom got clipped when I got pregnant because no longer could I go out and do what I wanted to do because I was pregnant, but also because the pandemic. So, like, I'm a good time girl. I like to go out, have drinks. I like to go to brunch. I like to go to dinner. I'm a good time person. Like, I like to have fun. But, that all really came to a screeching halt. So, I will say if you're not ready, don't force yourself. Not to say that I wasn't ready, but because I was 30, and I experienced a lot. It's just the immediate shift along with the pandemic made things a lot more hard to fuse together. But now things are definitely a lot more open and free, and I have a lot more opportunity to do a lot more different things. So, hello, Oscar. Nod wannabe. It's good. But yeah, y'all, I am doing all right. I'm so happy. Like I said, I wanted to check in with you guys, see what you guys are up to, let you know what's been good with me. Um, I'm over here trying to do some box braids. The pandemic has really gave me a lot of time to learn a lot of things. So I learned how to do box braids. I learned how to do faux locks. I learned how to do what are passion twists. I learned how to do. I can bake bread now. I learned a lot more new recipes. Like I made my own stewed chicken patties. Those were so good. So that was like I'm learning box braids too. See, I'm telling you, it gives you so much more freedom because you're more curious. Like, all right, well, I can't go get my hair done by such and such, so let me try to look it up and see how I could do it. But I definitely love doing my own hair now. It's kind of more like how do you say this? It's kind of ritualistic in a sense. Like it's, I could sit there and watch whatever I want to watch a whole series and just braid my hair all night long. And then before I know it, it's like 2 a.m. And then I'm like, oh shit, let me go to sleep because my son wakes up every day, 7:45 without without a doubt. He's up. Okay. He usually takes his naps like around one or two, depending. Um, But yeah, like learning how to do my own hair was definitely a plus because before the pandemic, as you guys knew, I shaved my head bald. Um, yeah, I went completely skinhead bald, and now my hair grew back, but I'm still trying to keep it, moisturized, maintained, and all that other stuff like that. So I just keep it away in braids because honestly, as much as I want to go get a weave, I know this sounds lazy, but it's like, for what? Like, I'm not like out and about, you know? Box braids and like, plaits and things like that is a lot easier for me to maintain just off the simple strength that I don't have to like fuss with it every day. Like, I could just put it up in a bun if I'm like, or wear it down if I'm feeling cute and sassy. But for the most part, it's up in a bun, up out of my face and out of the way. My real hair is so, like, of course, it's coarse and it's like harder to maintain. So I try to like keep it in some sort of style. And I don't want to get my hair permed or anything like that because that's one of the reasons why I shaved my hair bald initially was so that I could perm it and shave it off again and then go natural again because I wanted to try finger waves. And I don't know if y'all saw me during that time or not. I think, did I upload videos during that time? I'm not really sure. But I totally was bald and I was doing finger waves for a while. And I would dye my hair so many different colors. I had it green, orange, purple. Like I went through a whole phase of just dyeing my hair blonde. Yeah, and I loved it. And it was so much fun. It was like so super edgy and stuff like that. But I didn't want to like do anything to my new grown out hair. Like I don't even like half the time I don't even put like grease in it. I know it sounds so like crazy, but like I literally haven't done much to my hair and but it's been working to my advantage though. You know, when you fuss with your hair a lot, it breaks off. I don't really fuss with my hair a lot. Like I either it's braided or it's or it's in a bonnet or something because that's just the tea. Like I don't really have that much time to like fuss around with my hair the way I used to. I still have a couple of wigs um, that I made a few years ago, and I'm like, can they still work? Can they still work? I haven't worn a wig in so long because it's just kind of like I said, for what, you know? I stay in the house majority of the time because I'm like afraid of catching the coronavirus. I don't know if I've caught it yet or not. I felt like I caught it maybe last year in the summer because me and my son we were both like out of it. Like we both were out of it. I couldn't really taste anything. But the only thing is I didn't have a fever. It was just like my taste was gone. I could not breathe. Everything in here was all like congested. Same thing for my son, it was all congested. But then that only lasted for maybe 2 to 3 days and then it went back to normal. So, was it coronavirus or did I just get a cold? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z because I don't know. I really hope that I don't get sick. So that's why I try to like pretty much stay in the house and take my vitamins and mind my business. Like that's literally been my life as of late. Minding my own business, doing my own thing. Not doing too much because I don't want to be out and about. And I don't want my son out and about like that. Like we go for walks, take him to the park. I try to have him interact with other children as much as possible, but there's not really many children in my family or in my husband's family. He's the first grandchild on both sides. So he's kind of spoiled a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, he's definitely a mama's boy. Um, but it's like my first baby, so of course I'm gonna like give him everything that I can because that's just how you do, when you're a mom. You give your all. Um, but yeah, y'all, I'm surprised he went back to sleep because didn't I tell y'all he woke up? He went back to sleep. He woke up, sat up, looked around, and then laid back down and went back to sleep. I'm shook. Because he's like I said, he's been going through this screaming thing. I don't my patience has been tested this last week. That's when he started it. Like he would screech and squeal like most kids do, but it's been like the last week, and that's just not that's not my tea. So it's like it drives me nuts. So I'm working on it. I ordered this really interesting book that a lot of people say works in terms of giving your child a little bit more discipline. Because I'm not a whoop your ass kind of mother. I'm more of a let's sit down and talk and gentle parent kind of mother. Um, and that ain't been working. So I was like, all right, let me at least read this book, get the information that this man is saying is supposedly working. Because I talked to his pediatrician, and the pediatrician was like, you can read this book, and I'm like, okay, this book don't work with the screaming. I mean, he's just gonna have to grow out of it, I guess. I don't really know what his tea is with it, but it's definitely been wearing on me. So yeah, but I guess I could do like a little cute little situation here so you can see my little setup. I got a new little makeup table. So this is my new little vanity thing. My little bathroom is a little messy. Don't look at that. But I got, I threw away a lot, y'all. I threw away so much lipsticks. Like I had a tray. I had like a whole drawer full of just different MAC lipsticks. I'm only down to 2 MAC lipstick. I had 35 MAC lipsticks. 35, and I got rid of all of them except for 2. And the 2 that I kept was faux and half and half. Um, got my little perfume, little set up, my little hair stuff that I was doing. Baby monitor he knocked out. And yeah, got my new little drawers with like different little things in there. And my little makeup palettes and little stuff. Sorry, y'all. So yeah, got my little makeup station back because for a while the old makeup table that I had was being used for like, because like I said, when I was living in Jersey, my apartment was so small that I didn't have room to like have a makeup table. Like I would have to like set up a situation in the bathroom or set up a situation, excuse me, in my bedroom that was so janky that I was just like, it was uninspiring to like do anything because it was just kind of like, oh, I gotta do all this just to, but now it's totally different. I have like the space to create peacefully and willfully and comfortably. So yeah, y'all. That's that's what's that's what's up with me. Um, if y'all have any questions, because I don't even know if I have anything else really to like tell y'all. I feel like I've given y'all the abridged version of what's going on with me and what I've been up to. Thankfully, it's been a decent ride through what's been going on in the world. You know, I don't really have too many thoughts on a lot of the fuckery that's been going on in terms of political, in terms of, just that whole side of things. Like, I don't really speak on those things because uh, it's not my life. Like, that's not my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people like to think it's such a heavy part of your life, and maybe it could be, but for me it's just like I don't like to involve myself because it's just I'm a carefree person. I like to live a breathy, airy, sweet kind of life where I don't have those things troubling my brain all the time because that's just not my lifestyle. That's not like who I am as a person. Mm. I'm way too loving in order to have those things infiltrate my brain. like even as of lately, I have decided to like limit the amount of time I spend on certain apps because I don't want to have my because I noticed that even if I block certain type of key buzzwords, certain things are still being shown to me, and I'm just like, how is that possible? Like if I put a actual block on this specific word that correlates with this specific image or this specific uh video or whatever the case may be topic, how is it still being shown to me? I don't understand that because I don't really like seeing certain things, because to me it's just like when you see certain things um sequentially, or you know, I don't even know if that's the word, but if you see certain things in a sequence, I feel like it kind of permeates in your brain, you know. So I feel like, okay, I don't want to see anything related to the news. I know it sounds bad, but it's like, unless it's something that is like, okay, the asteroid is coming to blow us the fuck up. And even then, I don't want to know. Just if it's going to happen, bitch, ignorance is bliss in certain cases. Because what am I going to do at that point? I can't do nothing about the asteroid. I can't do nothing about the asteroid, you know? So I'm just saying, like, certain things are just like, if it's not within my direct line of, I could fix this right here, right now, it's just not for me, you know? I choose to focus my energy elsewhere, and maybe that's been helpful to me because I feel like it's been I feel a lot lighter. I'm not bogged down mentally, feeling like, oh my God, certain things are gonna happen to me, and that stuff is, it fucks with you. So be careful if you are out there reading these. Oh, hold on, I got some messages. Um, because to me, I just feel like it's dangerous. Negative stories have brought down my mood, infiltrated my dreams, etc. I'm really about to quit social media altogether, even YouTube. Same. I was just checking for emergency weather alerts like freeze warnings. hmm Because honestly, like, I like YouTube, but sometimes I see certain things on here. Actually, I see a lot of things on here that are just kind of like, girl, that's not what I want to have in my life. So I block those things. But still, sometimes, like I said, they be popping up, and I'm just like, oh. So that's just what how I choose to deal with the certain things that I've been seeing in terms of like just negativity. If it ain't gonna be something that is in front of me that I can handle right away, I choose to look the other way. And that's just how, you know, because imagine if a lot of people thought that way. A lot of things would get, you know, pretty much overturned. Like certain things would just be like certain things would not be problems if people just decided one day, you know what? I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna be friends with my friends. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm not gonna hurt this. I'm not gonna hurt that. And I'm just gonna mind my business. Can you imagine? I feel like that would be a little bit, it's actually a lot easier to just not think about certain things or do certain negative things than it is to actually actively seek them and try to like do certain things, but then that breaks off, and it's like a butterfly effect. Certain things happen after you try to do one thing, and then you have to fix this problem, then this problem sprouts up, then you got like, it's just, let's just stop. YouTube has gotten so negative over the years, especially with the influx of commentary channels that only talk about negative and decisive decisive things. Yeah, I agree. YouTube definitely has. And that's why I don't really follow any YouTubers that do too much. Like, from time to time, I watch some of the people that I watch are, what's that guy's name? Dang, I'm having a total mental brain fart right now. Why can't I remember his name? Alex. But I forgot what his whole YouTube channel's name is. But I watch a few guys. I watch this guy named Alex. I watch Claire Schuffitz. She does a lot of baking. I watch Tasty. I like a lot of their cooking videos. Bon Appetit. They have really good cooking and instructional videos on things like that. Like I watch a lot of informative videos on cooking, or if I'm trying to learn something, I watch a lot of videos about like, okay, I want to know how to box braid. So boom, I look up people who've done box braids. Or if I want to learn about like how certain things are like that's what I use YouTube for. It's more of like an encyclopedia. Like if I want to learn something, I look it up on YouTube. Or if I'm ordering something, like let's say I'm ordering I don't know, or I want to order something, I'll look it up on YouTube, see what people have suggested, like, oh, is it good or is it bad, whatever the case may be. Like I'll do that kind of research, but it's not to hear other people's opinions that much, you know. I also do, oh, I follow this one lady. Her name is Ashley Says So, and she does commentary review, not reviews, but like it's kind of like gossip, but like not current gossip. It's like gossip from back in like the 60s, 70s. Like these people have either transitioned in life, like passed away, or like they're super old. Like I don't really want to know what's going on currently. I'm really interested in like things in the past because it's like back then those people were a little bit different than the people that are alive nowadays, and hearing like what's going on now, I guess it's kind of the same thing except for the fact that it's like older. I don't know, but I find it a little bit more interesting to watch her. Her name is Ashley Says So. So if you do happen to be interested in vintage, yes, vintage tea, if you're interested in learning just like little simple things about like, you know, certain actors or actresses or musicians, she was like, you know, reporting on those, and I find that fun, lighthearted. It's not anything that's gonna like intrude upon my personal beliefs that I already have, you know. Like I don't want people to try to come into my life and change my mind on certain things. Certain things are just the way they are for me, and it has gotten me to the point where I am now, where I am okay. I'm okay. You know, I'm not hurting anyone. No one's hurting me, and that's it. You know, and that's just how I like my life. You know, without too many divisiveness. You know, in my ear. So I highly suggest that, like, you know, people try to kind of take time for themselves to like enjoy what's going on out in the actual world outside of what you see on the news or hear from certain uh, people, you know? Because I just feel like a lot of times nowadays it's just so, ugh, this makes you not even want to do anything if you were in that kind of mindset. But I don't have that mindset. I just kind of, I choose happiness, you know? Because I feel like happiness is certainly a choice. Um, and that's just what I choose. And I encourage you to choose happiness on today. But I think I'm about to head out, you guys. It was such an honor talking with you, especially because a lot of the time I haven't been here, you know, because I've been doing things in my life. And I feel like that's important, you know. I've even taken a step back on Instagram because I stopped posting, you know, like I'll post a photo here and there, but honestly, it wasn't as frequent as I used to. I used to post on Instagram nearly 3 times a week. Now it's down to maybe once every 3 months, maybe once a year, or sometimes like it's gotten, because I'm taking back my energy and like not manifesting it outwards but inwards. um, but I do want to post certain things that are more informative, like how to do something, according to Tay or how I do it. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind on things, but maybe lend my helping hand, my little sprinklings of, fairy dust. But yeah, y'all, it was an honor talking to you guys. Thank you so much for spending the last almost an hour with me. I'm gonna go actually wake my son up because normally I would just let him sleep. But if I let him sleep the way he's sleeping right now, he's gonna like not sleep tonight, and then I'm gonna be tight because I want my alone time. When 7:30 p.m. hits, I need to be, you got to take charge when you have kids. Take charge because otherwise it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Um, so yeah, have a nice day. I will be back very, very, very soon. Um, Maybe even tomorrow I'll come back and do a live and actually sit and part my hair the way that I was supposed to be doing it on right now, but I decided to be more chatty. But yeah, y'all, holla at your girl. I'll see y'all later. Peace.